Hi, my name is Julio Rivera. I'm an activist, journalist, adventurer, veteran, television presenter, and businessman. I've covered many of the major historical events going on around the world over the past several years, and after watching regime changes, conflict, and historic elections globally, I've come to the conclusion that the most underreported crisis in the world today can be defined in only one word: malware. That's why I've decided to dedicate my time to educating people everywhere and exposing the dangers that exist on the devices that we've become tethered to and depend on for so many reasons in our day-to-day life. Welcome to This Week in Malware. On This Week in Malware, we'll be covering a new version of Sarwent Malware can open remote desktop protocol ports, giving hackers hands-on access to victims' computers. Gamers beware! Hackers are using malware to steal your passwords on the popular gaming communication app Discord and attack your friends. And the enduring COVID-19 lockdown, the rise in telecommuting, and new scams continue to provide a wide net for hackers looking to profit from stolen data. When a computer is infected with malware, some people liken it to a person being infected with a virus. Sometimes viruses are known to adapt to environmental factors and mutate. Much like a living virus, according to cybersecurity researchers, there is a version of Sarwent malware that has the ability to open remote desktop protocol or RDP ports on infected computers, giving hackers hands-on access and remote control of infected computers. Researchers from SentinelOne, who have identified this version of Sarwent, believe the hackers behind this infection are likely preparing to sell access to these computers on the dark web, which is a common method of monetizing RDP-capable hosts. The evolution of Sarwent malware. Sarwent malware is a lesser-known backdoor Trojan that has been around since 2018. The previous versions of the infection had limited functionality, which included the ability to download and install other malware on compromised systems. But in a recent campaign spotted in May of 2020, SentinelOne malware analyst Jason Reeves says, Sarwent seems to have received two critical updates. The first gives Sarwent the ability to execute custom CLI commands via the Windows command prompt and PowerShell utilities. In addition to this update, Sarwent can register a new Windows user account on each infected host. After the user account is registered, it enables the RDP service and finally modifies the Windows firewall to allow external RDP access to the infected host. With the Windows firewall being modified, it is easier for attackers to invade, control, and exploit the infected device externally. The hacker's ability to control the infected host remains as long as the RDP stays open. The hacker's remote access can also continue if there isn't a firewall protecting the computer. RDP becomes a hot commodity. Simply removing the malware from the infected computer does not automatically close the RDP hole. Users, administrators, or paid cleaners also have to go through the extra step of removing the new Windows user account set up by the malware and manually close the RDP access port in the firewall. Obtaining access to Windows machines via the remote desktop protocol is becoming a preferred tactic of hackers and ransomware gangs. However, they usually scan for computers that already have RDP enabled, and then they'll try brute force tactics to crack the passwords to safeguard access through it. With the rise of COVID-19 across the globe, many more people are working from home. As a result of this, RDP use has soared, and this makes Sarwent a potentially lucrative malware. Users of popular gaming communication app Discord have recently come under attack from hackers. A popular Trojan malware known as Anarchy Grabber has recently undergone an update that has given it the capability of not only stealing passwords from Discord users, but also a variety of new threats. In addition to stealing passwords, Anarchy Grabber 3, as the new update is known, can also disable the user's two-factor authentication before attempting to spread the malware to those on the user's friends list. The password itself is stolen in text form, so the attackers can easily see the credentials before attempting to use that information to compromise accounts on other services. This is just one of the reasons why it's important to not use the same password on multiple sites. Anarchy Grabber 3 is a silent plugin until its script is activated. After activation, it begins to load other JavaScript files by logging the user out of Discord and prompting them to log back in. After the user does so, Anarchy Grabber 3 automatically attempts to disable the two-factor authentication on the user's account. Then Anarchy Grabber 3 takes advantage of Discord's webhook services to send not only the user's email address and login name to a compromised server, but also the user token, IP address, and their password. It can even decipher the remote voice commands and send messages from the compromised user to their friends list. Detecting Anarchy Grabber 3. Anarchy Grabber 3 is also good at avoiding detection. This malware works by modifying JavaScript code that the Discord client loads when it starts up. Once that code is modified, the malware itself seems to vanish. There is, however, a way to tell if your computer has been affected. Simply open Discord's index.js file with Notepad and look for a single line of code that looks like this. If your client contains no other code, then it likely hasn't been infected with the Trojan. One reason for the rise in these attacks is that its creators have made the Anarchy Grabber code freely available, and tutorials are easy to find on streaming video sites. That makes it easy for even relatively unskilled hackers to launch attacks. Although the potential damage caused by Anarchy Grabber might seem fairly low, the danger of having a primary password that is used across different platforms stolen cannot be understated. So gamers, make sure that you are protected against more than just the rival team in your first-person shooter tournament. As the coronavirus pandemic continues to hold the world to a standstill, there has been an increase in cyber attacks. Internet usage has drastically shot up, with most office goers working from home and students taking online classes. And as all this is going on, hackers are busy writing malicious code, launching phishing attacks, and unleashing malware targeted at unsuspecting victims. In India, the Central Bureau of Investigation issued a warning in May of 2020 related to a banking Trojan known as Cerberus. The CBI warned this malicious software impersonates a link from a legitimate source and tricks users into installing it on their smartphones. Cerberus primarily focuses on stealing financial data like credit card numbers and bank details. Additionally, it can trick victims into providing personal information and can capture two-factor authentication details. In America, COVID-19 related complaints to the Federal Trade Commission have doubled in Alabama over the last month. According to the U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Alabama, Jay Town, Justice Department-wide, we are getting thousands of calls each week of price gouging, frauds, a variety of different frauds as they relate to PPEs, test kits, things like that. It hasn't stopped. Some of the more prevalent scams include hoarding and price gouging scams. The Department of Health and Human Services has chosen certain health and medical resources necessary to respond to the COVID-19 pandemic as scarce, including ventilators, respirator masks, and other medical protective equipment. These designated materials are subject to the hoarding prevention measures that provoke both criminal and civil remedies. Supply scams. Scammers are creating fake shops, websites, email addresses, and social media accounts claiming to sell medical supplies currently in high demand, such as surgical masks. Much like hackers, when consumers attempt to purchase supplies through these channels, fraudsters pocket the money and never provide the promised supplies. Phishing scams. Scammers posing as national and global health authorities, including the World Health Organization and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, are engaging in spear phishing campaigns designed to trick recipients into downloading malware or providing personal identifying and financial information. So how do you protect yourself and your family as you spend more time at home online? Covering the basics of online security. There are a few easy and very important things you should do to protect yourself and your family online. Firstly, make sure you're using strong passwords and picking different passwords for every account. Using two-factor authentication everywhere it's offered is also key, especially if you're one of the millions of people who are working from home a lot more as the coronavirus pandemic rages on. Rizwan Virani, president of Alliance Cybersecurity, told the website Recode, with employees setting up several new accounts for various remote work services like file sharing and virtual meetings, it's especially important that they're using strong, unique passwords. And that extends to your home equipment. If you're using the default passwords that came with your router, change it. Hackers love default passwords. Make sure you're keeping current on software updates too. These often come with security patches for newly discovered vulnerabilities. You can also set up your computer to update automatically so you get them as soon as possible. Another issue to be wary of is freeware. Virani also says that one of the riskiest things he sees in the small to mid-market companies his company advises is their use of free services to handle sensitive information like file sharing or teleconferences. The company that's giving you something for free, they're getting something out of it as well, Virani said. Really vet the partners you do business with and the tools that you use in your business. I think a lot of this free software out there, they put a lot of the company information at risk because you don't know what they do with that information. Another thing that we can all benefit from regarding security is to keep your online work and personal life as separate as possible. Try not to use your work computer for personal communications. Although that is becoming a lot harder to do with an increasing number of people working via remote access software from their home computer, a good rule of thumb is to interact with known programs and websites and discerning when deciding what attachments to open when checking emails. You know, as I think about the dangers that exist online, not unlike the subjects we learned about in this video, I know I feel a lot better having an anti-malware program like Spy Hunter installed in my PC, providing me the protection I need against malware, and I think you should too. Spy Hunter 5's strongest features are found in its malware repair capabilities. Spy Hunter 5's remediation algorithms dive deep into your system to remove and address complex malware issues affecting PCs today. While many anti-malware products only flag and quarantine malware and ultimately fail to fully remediate the root problem, the Spy Hunter 5 remediation algorithm detects, quarantines, and programmatically repairs malware problems on your PC. Spy Hunter 5 is a powerful PC utility that repairs malware threats in many cases where other competing anti-malware and antivirus programs may fail. To detect and remove malware for free, go to enigmasoftware.com and download Spy Hunter today. Thanks for watching.